Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time we're going to be going through another approximately 100 vintage Penguin crime books numbered between 500 and 700. So sit back, relax and let's get to it. Okay, and so carrying on with the beautiful Penguin crime books that I picked up a few weeks back, and this is number 508, and on the face of it, it looks a pretty nice copy, this one. Let's have a little flick through. Yeah, he's all right. Yeah, that's lovely. The only fault I can see on this one is a tiny bit at the bottom of the spine, just coming away a touch. So let's see if we can get a bit of glue out. That's probably enough, to be honest. So we'll just squeeze that back in. There you are. So apart from that tiny little corner of the spine, that's a very nice one. They're not all like that, sadly, but I think these are slightly underrated, you know, in terms of rarity and how much they generally sell for. Because they're post 500, they are obviously a lot easier to get hold of, and not as scarce as some of the other ones here. So yeah, 1945, but in the second half of 1945. That one is quite a bit dusty, that one, but there's no other marks on it to worry about. And what we'll do with the brushing on these, we'll do them in little chunks. Pit Prop Syndicates. This one's got a 1 shilling on the front. There we are, that little one there. So I've been through the first couple of videos that we did, and I've had them up in my collection room, and we've been going through, and I've been doing my comparisons against the copies I got recently against the ones that were already in my collection to compare and contrast and get the best looking copies for myself. Some of them, though, they're so scarce. I mean, this one here, it's a shame it's got a cut out of it, but apart from that, he's not too bad. Got a $14 at Kill City Books, and I believe this is somewhere in Australia. So the owner of this collection, the curator of it, I'm afraid I don't know his name, but I know that he and his wife went to Australia. I think they had some sort of relatives there. I think they went to Australia a fair bit at one point, and certainly there's a fair batch of this collection which have got Australian stickers on. Interestingly, there was only 3 early Australian copies. There was 2 from the 1940s, which is great, because I've actually sort of not tried to go down the Australia/New Zealand line of collecting vintage penguins, because there are a lot of them, and they're not massively different to the British ones. However, there are a couple in this collection, 2 early ones and 1 later one from the 60s, which I'd never seen this sort of design before. But it's very beaten up. Unlike this one, which is a particularly nice copy for this particular book. Let's see how we get on. This looks rather nice indeed. Yeah, that is lovely. Nothing to do on that at all. That's gorgeous. 516. It's got a Murder 1 sticker on. So let's see if we can. It's already been partly peeled. So let's see if we can continue the job and get this off without ruining it, because it does appear to be a very nice copy. Yeah, it's a shame, because I think if this had been taken off at the time that this was bought, it would have been fine. But because it's been left on, I think that would only make it worse. And I think we're better off leaving that sticker on, as much as I hate it, because it's a really nice copy apart from that on the face of it. But that sticker is a detraction, sadly. But if we take it off, it will make it worse. And at least it's a crime-related sticker, I suppose, Murder 1. But what a shame, because that would have been a tip-top copy, that one. Right, cause for alarm, Eric Ambler. Of course, later on, the books start to have laminated jackets, and they're much easier to take stickers off on. But these are still matte. This is a post-war period, so stickers, you know, when they're on, they're probably going to be on for a permanent time. But that's, once again, that's actually quite a nice one. Of these are scarce, these early ones. This is a bit more typical with the spine, where 523. This is a bit more what they're usually found in. Just wondering if this is actually a reprint. No, it says it's their first, but 1947. So it does say first in it though, so the number must have been reserved, but the book didn't get printed until later. Quite serious sort of spine damage down the bottom there, but still okay. Here's a Richard Cavern, 528, another beautiful copy, but it's got another sticker on. So I will try it again, just to see. It may have been towards the end of a sticker roll, for example. And it might come off easily. It may, however, be stubborn, like the last one was. You could see the last one was going to tear. So we just have to hope that this will come off without incident. Since on the face of it, it does look like a very nice copy indeed. So I'm just using the edge of my thumbnail here. Yeah, you can see it is going to take up a bit of it by the look of it. Shame they just didn't put them on the back where it's less important, I think, you know, for eye appeal. But I'm sure many of the people watching this, particularly if you're in the UK of a certain age, you will remember Murder One in London as the crime shop to visit back in the day. Yeah, so it's got it off. It took a little bit of the S there of books, but basically it's better than that being on, in my opinion, because apart from that, it's a very, very sharp copy, that one. So not perfect, but pretty good, that. Almost perfect. Groot Park Murder, 531. It's again a pretty nice copy, that. Yeah, I was contemplating putting a little layer of glue down there, but I'm not going to bother. I am, however, going to put a tiny bit in the bottom of the spine there, because that has come away a little. And that, what we've done there should just keep it in place. I'll squidge it out now. Just hold it in place a sec. Yeah, that's going to be fine, that one. That just keeps that nice and tight down the bottom there. But apart from that, that one's very, very nice. This next one's a bit of a dog. It's the worst one we've seen so far, 537. So it's only low grade, sadly. 25p or even 75p inside. Now, the question I have to ask myself is this book super valuable? And the answer is no. Is this book in collectible condition? I would say literally barely. So I don't really want to have this in my stock, because I think this is a bit too low grade and I do want to stick to the best of it. So although we've cleaned it, I'm going to put that to one side as one for my big cheap job lot. That's what's going to happen with that one. And the same may be true with this one. Yeah, that to me is too far gone. So once again, I'm not going to resell it. I'm just going to pop it into a big job lot. Fugitive from Murder. It's just not worth keeping the lower grade books. If I don't want to be selling stuff that's really low grade unless it's mega rare. And from this point onwards, they're not that mega rare. So it'll make up a little job lot. This one is borderline. Yeah, certainly not perfect in any way, shape or form, I'm afraid to say. But sometimes some of the books in this collection, this is just how they are. Once again, I'm not that thrilled about keeping that one in stock. I think it's just too far gone. So that's going to be a pound one as well. Or not a pound one, a job lot one. This one, however, on the face of it seems reasonably presentable, a bit grubby. Quite a few turned over corners here by the looks of it. Let's sort these out. There we go. A few on the other end here as well. Always a little frustrating when the pages have been like concertinaed up a little bit. But apart from that, it's not A1, but it's certainly not worth getting rid of cheap. I think it's nice enough to keep in the main run. So once again, there's a few odd non-crime books. This one has come away completely from its covers, but the covers themselves are actually, well, I've seen worse, let's put it that way. It's not great, but it is Gilbert Chesterton. So let's take off this internal penciling. And then we'll re-glue this one. Right, so run some glue down here. When we're re-gluing a whole spine, I like to be reasonably generous with the glue. There we are. That's okay, someone will be happy with that one, I believe. Right, another Nordenholtz Million. This one seems reasonably nice condition. It's got a very faint 1 and 6 on the front, which it doesn't seem to be disappearing even with my soft rubber, so that's there to stay. There we are. £1.99. Well, that wasn't bad for one in this condition, really. 1946, that's okay. That's a pretty tidy copy of that one. Don't mind that at all. This one at first glance looks okay. Here comes the copper, 583. Bit of a ring on the back there. Oh, did I spot something in there? I think it was a bookmark or something. Well, not a bookmark, but a bit of paper, I think. Maybe I hallucinated it. I don't think so. Sure, I saw a little bit of paper move when I flicked through there. Oh, well, nothing's come out, so... that's weird, isn't it? Oh, there we are. There was something there. Look. Someone used that little bit of newspaper as a bookmark. How very dare they? But that's a really nice copy of that one. Once again, just a tiny bit of glue, I feel, where the bottom is just split a little bit. Switch that in there. Just because it was lifting off slightly. But yeah, I think that's quite a nice presentable copy, that one. That may even be an improver on my own. Some of these might. That's why I'm very keen to go through them, because it's not every day you get to upgrade your Penguins. Now this next one looks like it's a candidate for the cheap and cheerful, because the spine is falling to bits on it here. It's very, very worn. It's the first, but it's very, very worn indeed. So I'm not going to have that one in my stock. Rex v. Anne Bickerton, 585. And that seems absolutely fine. I got the £3.50 for this one he paid. But to be honest, nowadays, I think anything under between 500 and 600, if it's in nice condition, I think you know they deserve to be at least a fiver. And I'd say even a little bit more, maybe £6, if they're in really tip-top shape. You know, I just think when you think how old the books are, like 70 years old now, you know, and you can't buy a new book for like, you know, it's like £8.99 or £9.99. That to me, I think deserves a bit of a premium price, because it is a very, very nice copy. This one I think will be okay, but it's going to need a bit of repair work. Nowhere near as nice condition-wise. It's got that foxing on it. And some pencil marks, which we'll need to get out in a minute. But it is a first, which is what is important. Okay. Right. Let's take out this £2 here. Okay. Now the spine is going to need some repair work here. This seems fairly straightforward to me. Just the top edge has been caught somehow. Needs to be glued back in. Yeah, a bit of a spine split there. I need it to stay down. Stay down, boy. Yeah, there we are. Okay. 589. This one seems fairly bright, doesn't it? Nice bright copy. Yeah, that's I'd say that's a bit of a winner. Yeah, there's not a mark on that at all. That's really nice. Really nice. I'm going to slide that pile over there. We're going to start a new pile now. 590. This one's got spine roll on it, so it's not sitting very flat. Bookworm in Hastings. But it's all right. It's an okay copy, this one. It's not perfect, but it's okay. Just got that bit of spine roll, which, you know, can't do loads about that. It just needs to be stored flat, really, and have some nice weights on it to sort that out a bit. And also someone to read it from back to front, and that can sometimes reverse the roll on it and stretch it back the other way. And this one on the face of it looks very nice. Look, Murder in the Basement, 591. And there's a few in this collection which are like this. It's almost as if they're unread. This one has got a small pen mark on the front cover, mind you. But apart from that, that is very, very nice indeed. Right, that's the first. That's between 500 and 600. Next, we're going to do the next 100, 600 to 700. Okay, carrying on. 602. This is a very, on the face of it, nice copy of Menace by Richard Caverne. I think this is another one that's reasonably tricky to find, and this is a nice copy of that. That is a beauty, that one. So that's lovely. Right, the longer bodies, Gladys Mitchell, 604. Once again, that's another really, really nice one, that. Nightingale, oh no, it's got a sticker on. Nightingale and Eagle. So, absolutely fine. A little bit of wear on the spine there. Can we get the sticker off? Well, we seem to have managed to slide the top bit of it off without too much trouble. What about this bit underneath? The logo. Yeah, it's leaving a bit of a stain, but yeah, ultimately, in my opinion, it's better than having a sticker on there. If we can just get it off. Yeah, I think it's just about come off. To me, yeah, it's borderline. It's not as nice as I would have hoped because it was coming off all right, but I think for me it's still aesthetically better than having a modern day, well, reasonably modern day price sticker on the front, in my opinion. It's still a very, very, this is a minor little thing. I mean, we're not going to be finding perfection, although some of the later books you could say they appear unread. You know, they've been bought brand new. I don't think they've ever been read. But that's a pretty nice copy of that one. That's okay. Someone will be happy with that, I'm certain. Right, the Mad Hatter Mystery. So again, that one seems quite tidy. Yeah, I am double checking these as we go along to make sure they are all firsts. There's a little bit of coming away there from the spine, but not much. Yeah, spine's slightly coming away as the glue is aged, but not much. Yeah, that's okay. Right, case for 3 detectors. This is a bit more VG-ish. I don't know if that's in pencil or not. Yeah, it was, yeah. Couldn't quite tell if that was in pencil or pen, that little 15p. So, not perfect, but not awful. We've seen worse. And it is worth keeping this one in stock. Albeit it'll be a bit cheap and cheerful, but that's okay. It is crime, and I don't like to get rid of any crime if I can help it, unless they're real dogs, you know. So, and I wouldn't say this was a complete write-off, but I also wouldn't say it was that great either. It's just, as I said, a well-read, probably a few times copy. But it is what it is. We do our best to save these books. Right, a bit of fiction. The Guilt Kid, James Curtis, 623. Yep, not sure what the story is behind that, except it's absolutely fine. 629, so the bottom of the spine is poking up there. This one has seen a little bit of action. Got £2 inside. Yeah, that's okay, but it does need the bottom of the spine gluing. And this is double ply, so we're going to get the first bit down. And then we need to do it again. There we are. It's a little bit, you know, VG, but I still think it's okay. It's all right. It's not going to be perfect, but, you know, I won't be charging much for that. Maybe £3, £3.50, if that, possibly. So you're not talking a lot of money, but it's not worth putting in the rejects pile, you know, the cheap pile. Right, Death and Mary DeZille, Mary Fit. Blotchy on the back there. Not sure what that is. And blotchy at the front here. Yeah, not the greatest copy, but, you know, presentable, I suppose. Right, Famous Trials 2. Right, well, we can see the spine's got some wear. This has evidently been read a few times. Yes, you could say a little worn, this one. Some of this glue's a horrible bit of old glue there. I want to get out, really. Where it's just flaked away. Okay. See how that does the trick. Probably gone overboard again, but sometimes that doesn't hurt. That is better than what was there. Split at the bottom of the spine. So that was a little bit borderline, that one, to be honest. But I don't think it warranted going in the cheap pile. This one, however, let's have a look. So it's got some tape on, which is old and a bit stubborn coming off. It hasn't just popped off. Odd man out. The reason the tape was on in the first place was because the bottom of the spine had been torn and or split, which is what we can see here. But our glue has soon sorted that out. Now, my only concern is that where the tape has come off, it is a bit sticky. Top's okay, bottom is a bit sticky. There we are. That's okay now. Right, oh, here's a great one. Look at that, the big sleep. Unfortunately, you can see there was a sticker there which has already been removed. It's got the original price out. This is one of those odd ones which is quite collectible, post number 500. I mean, really nice ones of this, and I mean mint. Maybe £15, 12 to £15. This one in that condition, well, it's still going to be quite nice. I'm still probably going to put £4, £4.50 on that one, even in that condition, because it is a sort of a key book, that one. Right, this is a little bit more worn. So let's see how bad it is inside. Not too bad, actually. Take this price out, £1.60 is what it said. Yeah, just the spine which is worn. Now, see, that cover is actually a little bit split, so I think we can get away with putting a slither down there. Try and keep that bit of cover in place. So yeah, a worn spine, but generally we've seen worse, you know, just about. It's right on the borderline of being kept that one, and the only real reason I'm keeping it is because it is a crime one. Right, probably a similar story to this. The King is Dead on Queen Street. Once again, quite grubby. Oh, looks like the spine's coming away from the back end. Not completely though. So I'm not going to do anything too dramatic. I'm just going to try and seal up what's left, basically. Put a trench of glue down there. We do sometimes see like little runs in a particular period where the glue that was used at the printers, generally on all the books from that period, generally hasn't survived for various reasons, you know. And I think we're sort of in that period now. You see it across all Penguin's list. You see it with other publishers as well, for whatever reason. So it's a bit at the top. It's a bit difficult because there's not really a lot for it to stick onto. The book has been read several times. So perfect, it ain't. But that's not too bad now. It lives to fight another day, shall we say. Unlike this one, which is, you can clearly see it's had it. It's on its last legs. I'm not going to do anything with that at all except put it on the rejects pile. Death of a Beauty Queen. Ha ha ha. Once again, look, there's a sticker removal mark there. You've got to think that these also came from Murder One. How crazy of them. A shop that sold collectible crime to price up their the vintage penguins like that. Evidently, they didn't value them like we value them. Well, that's not stuck down very well. No, it is multi-layered again. Be a bit more generous with the glue this time, see if that does the trick. Still going up. Okay, there we are. That's a bit better. Right. Death on Heron's Mare, Mary Fit. Now this is in a rough state. And it's got a sticker on the back. Top and bottom of spine are a little on the damaged side, and it's coming away from the spine. So, it's very, very grubby inside. No, it's borderline, but it's not worth wrestling over. Look at this, £5. Murder One again. If I'd paid £5 for this book, in the shop I would have said, can you take the sticker off please? And asked them to do it. But as I said, it was probably fine at the time. The stickers came on and off very easily. It's just 30 years later, they don't play ball very well. But we'll see how we get on with this one. On the face of it, once again, it's quite a presentable copy, which is great. Now, on the inside cover, we've got some writing there. So I'm going to use this as a little resting mat for my rubber here. And just get this little bit of writing off here as well, where someone's written a few names. There we are. Go into the dross pile again. So we've done everything on that we possibly can, except have a tackle on the label. Of course, this book is now not immediately post-war. We are sort of in the late 1940s now, sort of 1948, 49. And the cover does actually feel less matte than the ones that were immediately post-war, where they couldn't have afforded any fancy cover gloss. So whether that's going to make this a little bit easier, I don't know. I think it's still going to leave some sort of mark. It's, I think, inevitable. But I remember going into Murder One, and it was at a time when I was more into crime than any other genre. I'd read loads of science fiction growing up, loads and loads of it, and I was a bit ready for something different. And crime fiction and detective fiction seemed to be quite an exciting genre, and it seemed to be there was a lot happening in the area, you know. I gravitated towards some of the Italian authors. I remember trying all sorts of people. I can't remember their blooming names. The only one I really went on and fell in love with was Andrea Camilleri with his Montalban books. I absolutely love those. I still love them today. So much so, although he has died now, I've got a little backlog of maybe 8 I haven't read. So I'm eating them out, basically. And there we are. So it's left a ghost image where that was. But in actual fact, that's actually come up quite nicely. So I'm just, where it's left a bit of stickiness, I'm just putting my finger over it so that it doesn't mark the books next to it. A little bit of stickiness left on the front here. I mean, I'd almost be tempted to put the polish on, but I don't think the cover is that nice. It's glossy compared to the earlier ones, but it's not like super glossy, so we've got to be reasonably careful. But that's okay. That's all right. So that's the second pile done. So slide that in there. I've just got this little wedge here, which does include some early Agatha Christie's. So it'd be very nice to see what condition those ones are in. And we'll start off with the crossword mystery. Right, the last little batch then here, and we've got some challenges ahead, but also got some, really collectible books with the Agatha Christie's. So I'm hoping we can do a decent number on them. And certainly I'm looking to upgrade a few Christie's myself. I don't think there's any here that I'm going to be able to upgrade, but it is what it is. So this one here evidently has got that bottom of the spine needing to be re-glued by the face of it. Yeah, once again I noticed it had 25 cents inside, so maybe again this is one that's been picked up in Australia by the previous owner. Yeah, not perfect, but it's as good as we're going to get this one. The crossword mystery, or crossword mystery. Right, now this next one I'm looking at thinking, yeah, look at the state of it. To me, that's just too worn to be in any serious Penguin collector's collection. So it's in the reject pile. Right, this one may be okay though. Dancers in Mourning. Now, this one's also got a tiny bit of pencil down the bottom there, which we shall get out, using the other books as a little stand. But apart from that, that's okay. That's all right. Obviously, these are going to need a brush in a minute when we have got to the end. Right, so the first of 10 Agatha Christie's, and look, it's got a bloody sticker on. Damn it. But it is Christie, so I'm not going to just throw it out. Although the copy of 10 Little You-Know-Whats is fallen to bits, the one that came in with this collection. And that one won't be going anywhere except in this job lot. Ugh. Sticky, sticky, sticky. Right. Sad times. Even Murder One only put £2 on this. Yeah, look, the stickers just come straight off. There was no and an ahhing. It's taken off that bit of the cover, but it is what it is. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference to the price. It's a copy. It's not a very nice copy, but it's better than no copy. And I think someone will still have that as a filler. ABC Murders, sticker again. Obviously, this run was the first time Christie had been put into Penguin since the 1930s. By this point, she was already amongst the best, if not the best, selling British author. Certainly in the world of crime, I think she was the top selling author by the late 40s, having sold millions of books at that point. Let's see how we get on with this one. Yeah, leaving a tear. So that one, I think I'm just going to leave the sticker on, because that would have left quite a nasty little stain on the front there, a nasty little tear. So whoever ends up buying that one, that's probably £3 is probably what I'm going to sell it for, because it's just not great condition wise. Right, Ackroyd. Evidently some repair work to be done there. There we are. There we are. Right, it's got a big V. So we'll get rid of that. Then the rest of it's okay. No Murder One sticker this time, so just needing a little bit of glue. So I generously pop some on. So this one got republished about 8 years later with a new introduction by Agatha Christie. As one of a Christie, these were published. This is 10 Christie books, all published on the same day, with a print run in this first printing of 100,000 each. So she had 1 million books published simultaneously, and the same feat was performed 8 years later. But they, in the re-releases, they decided to re-release Ackroyd again, but with just a brand new introduction by Christie. So that one is a little bit better. That one has survived okay, with us putting it through its paces. Right, Lord Edgware Dies got a bloody sticker on. This one is also coming away. I can feel it. Yeah, look at that. Oh. Now, we don't want to dig all of that out because it would be awful. We're just going to have to glue it in situ. And as I said, it's just this period more than anything else in Penguin history, rather than anything that the books have done wrong or that a previous owner has done wrong. It's just this awful period where the glue just doesn't really, over time, it hasn't really lasted very well. It's a shame because on the face of it, it's a pretty nice copy, that. I'd be loath to take the sticker off since we've not had that much success with these, because it might damage it. I think I might just leave it. You know? I think I'm going to leave that on because I think it would just make it worse in that particular case. Right, Murder at the Vicarage. Another £3 sticker on. This one is a bit low grade. But it's Agatha Christie, so it's not like they're going to be difficult to sell. Everyone wants these. There we are. Sadly, you know, it has come away a bit. So we'll save what we can. Yep, not ideal, but it is what it is in this particular case, you know. Not great, but we've seen worse. And once again, I'm just going to leave the sticker on. Right. 7 Dials Mystery. Evidently this came from a different source. There's no Murder One sticker on. There's some other price inside, which we shall attempt to get off. Quite a nice copy, this one. Quite nice. Not perfect. But these are by far the harder of the 2 sets to get, of 10. They really are. Okay, that's 7 dials. Right, this one does appear to be a bit of a dog. So we'll repair what we can. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I had a reasonable copy of this one recently that I sold for a £5. Very similar sort of condition to that. So they are sought after. This one's, look, this is a beauty. This is how you want them. But this one in this condition, was it's a first. Yeah, that's a £25 book. It's absolutely minters. Of a key title. A key Christie, that. It may be better than my own one. I think of this particular run, I only need 2 to have them all in tip-top shape. I don't think it's this one. But I can't remember which one it is. But that is lovely, so that's a real minter. A tiny bit of writing on the front there, I see, in pencil. Which I just spotted there. Okay. Now the next one's the worst one of all, because look at the state of it. It is beaten up beyond belief. It's too far gone. But it'll just make that job lot all the more desirable. And this is not a bad one. Tiny nick down the bottom by the look of it. £2.50 inside. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, tiny little piece of the bottom of the spine missing, but apart from that, he's okay. And then the last one, before we do the brush down, is Rogue Mail, Jeffrey Household. A little 10p on the first page there. Weird place to have, isn't it? But that's all the old Penguins up to number 700 now, but that's this video 500 to 700. I'm doing these in advance, so I've got no idea what's likely to be next week. At the moment, I'm afraid to say. It may be Hutchinson Services Editions. It may be something completely different. I just don't know. But before we can get to that, we need to just brush these down. So we've got basically 3 stacks of nice ones. And of all those nice ones, this wedge here, very, very poor condition. They're going to be going in my... I'm not going to do anything with them. They're going over into the job lot cheapy pile. And these ones here now just need a brush, and then I can compare them with my own books in my own collection. Make sure I've got the best ones, and then they can go up. I can price them up and offer them out for sale. So that's the plan. And these, dust-wise, these vary quite a bit by the look of it. They're not all ancient books anymore, but they are still 70-year-old books. In fact, even more than that. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed watching today's video. If you have, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. And if you've not already, do please hit the subscribe button for weekly book cleaning content. Not all paperbacks, I do mix it up a bit sometimes and do other things as well. As I said, I'm not really sure what next week's video is going to be because I'm doing all this crime stuff in advance because I need to get it processed before potentially another big collection at the end of the month. You never know. Which, by the time you see this, I may well have either bought or I've had a look at it and decided, no, it's not for me, you know, so watch this space. Anyway, thank you for watching today. And I look forward to seeing you again in a week's time. Bye.